Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time visiting. My name is Maida. I make beauty related content here on YouTube as well as the occasional nail content, which still falls under beauty related, but today I'd like to share my thoughts on the new. Actually, is it new at this point? Because I know that there's another palette that was just released, the Xenon palette. Anyway, this is the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona. You've likely already seen it before. You might even have this. If you do, let me know how you like it. I actually haven't tried it out just yet. I was kind of waiting to record my first impression, if you will. This is my very first Natasha Denona palette. I'm very excited. I swatched and did a terrible job. Everybody and their grandma has talked about this palette already. I haven't really played with very many cool tones. This is a cool toned palette, so something new to me. I also would like to see the difference between looks, just to see the versatility in it. Anyways, if you want to hang out with me for a little bit and see my first impression on this palette in particular, then I hope that you'll keep on watching. What's practical is logical. What the hell, who cares? All I know is I'm so happy when dancing like I'm a slave. With this new intense hydration cream from Refer. I actually just ordered a set of brushes from Refer and I'm gonna be trying those out as well. This came with the set. It was like a free gift with purchase. fragrance free. Okay, so this does feel nice on the skin. It says it's an essential oil free formula for dry skin. I don't necessarily have dry skin, but testing it out just to see. Apparently there is 20% shea butter, 5% niacinamide, 3.5% macadamia seed oil, ceramides, hyalocta complex. Never heard of that, but it feels good. Feels good on the skin. So what have you guys been up to? I have been a little busy. My partner and I found a kitten in our alley, and he was like a tiny little thing, so we decided to bring him in because that day it was pretty rainy, pretty cold. I can't be 100%, but that poor little thing was put out by somebody. He was in a box, and I have 3 resident cats, and they were not very happy with our guest. Not only is he a kitten, and they've never really been around kittens. Well, Lou has, and Lou hates kittens. So you can imagine the chaos that ensued. This little one was a menace. He was something else, super cute, but as cute as he was mischievous. And I really needed to get him to a foster home at least. Every shelter around me was packed to the brim. There was like no vacancy. My girls were hanging in there. Lou hated it and was upset with me even after a few days that he had been gone. Ziggy and Jerry were a little more comfortable, but not necessarily in love with him, you know? Anyway, I was able to find him a home. This little guy is thriving, I'm happy to report. So anyway, I'm gonna start out with this shade right here. This is the shade Stone, and I'm taking my Refer 14 brush, and I'm just gonna add that into the crease and a little bit above. Because of my hooded eye, my crease is pretty much invisible, so I need to create that illusion. And oh my goodness gracious, this is such a good brush for that. Cat hair already. So I'm just now kind of getting my groove back, and things are back to normal here. I have slight OCD, and it was triggered, and it's been kind of tough as well, like dealing with that on top of like anxiety and depression. I'm also bringing that shade down here to the lash line. Okay, so far so good. That's one of the matte shades. I have heard all kinds of comments regarding this formula in particular. A lot of people are kind of on the fence when it comes to her matte formulations because I guess they're a little tricky to work with, but I'm not having much difficulty actually. But anywhoosies, I was struggling a little bit with those, I'll call them OCD tendencies. I won't go into detail because while I do want mental health to be like an open discussion here on my channel, I don't want to make it my entire personality. You know what I'm saying? Because I am more than my mental disorders, but I also want to admit whenever I'm not feeling the greatest, because I think it doesn't do anybody any good to pretend like these things don't happen. I have to say, this shade is so pretty. I'm not typically like a cool toned kind of girl. It's pretty nice. I want to create a little bit of dimension, so I'm gonna darken out the corners. Yeah, check it out. I'm not having any issue blending these out whatsoever. All right, so the question here is, do I add it to this corner using the same brush, or should I get a fluffier one? Because I'm afraid that if I go in with this one, it might be too precise. I'm going in with this fluffier brush that I have just because I didn't want there to be like a super defined area. And now I'm gonna go in with my little 14 brush again, and I'm gonna start concentrating a little bit of that shade in here. Oh, and then that's the shade Silhouette. I've been trying to distract myself from news You know, what's happening in the Middle East has, I don't know, it's really affected me. And I just don't know how to cope. Like, what a stark difference it is for us to wake up and not have that fear of things falling from the sky, if you know what I mean. Oh man, we're expected to get on with our day like people aren't going through such a horrific time. Things like this are happening all over. We are so lucky that we're here on this side of the world, but others aren't so lucky. It just seems like a really dark time. So I guess from all of that, my OCD was really triggered. I just feel that bottom line is I hate the fact that there are so many people suffering. I wish I could do something. I wish I could help end this, you know, but like, don't we all? I'm gonna go in with the shade Delilah, which is this very pretty kind of like lavender, taupey lavender shade. And I'm actually gonna go in with my finger. Very pretty shades. I'm just trying to function, you know. And some days are harder than others. I want to have this space be a little happy place. So changing the subject, but I'm also keeping all people in the back of my mind. And so I've been trying to distract myself a little bit. And in doing so, I started to listen to Britney Spears' new book. It's an interesting read, man. When I was little, like, I used to look up to her. She was Britney Spears, you know what I mean? Like, Britney. So I grew up being a super fan. And you know, it's interesting. It's like I'm rediscovering Britney. Like, does that make sense? While listening to her book, I don't know. I felt so bad for her. And I don't think anybody needs to feel pity for Britney Spears. She's a strong person. And while her own family has done her dirty on so many levels, she's still a good person. And it's even sadder to see how her life unfolded in the way that it did. I'm gonna get a fluffier blending brush and gonna go back into Silhouette and then try to build that shade. So I really want it to be a lot more dramatic as opposed to all just glitter, you know? Let's see if I can do it. I watched that special where she's going to different clubs to perform in one night. Seeing it as a 33-year-old person, like, it just breaks my heart for her, man. It so breaks my heart that someone like her, and not just because like, oh, she's Britney Spears, but it just seems like she's such a sweet person. Also very people pleasy, and I can kind of relate to that because that is one of the things that I'm trying to improve. It's like I can empathize with her, you know? And seeing how horribly she was portrayed in the media. Goodness gracious, like, it is no wonder why that woman had that breakdown. From being overworked and exploited to being taken advantage of by those who she loved and trusted. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create one look on this eye, and I'm gonna try to do something different, or as different as I can make it on the other one. I don't really want to make any assumptions about anybody's life or mental state because I don't know. I'm all for her posting whatever she wants on social media. I support her. I wish her well. So this is where we are. I know it looks bananas right now, but once we add a little bit of mascara, foundation, and all of that, that should kind of tone it down a little bit and clean it up because this is looking crazy. Let's move on to this eye, and I want to do something a little more on the pinky side. So let's try that out. I'm going in with the shade Vague, and just gonna put it all over the crease. Okay, so I'm also going to try to bring out that supposed crease and elongate it a little bit. So yeah, what do you guys think about the Britney book, if you care? Because I definitely care to an extent. I do feel that Britney is one of the best entertainers of our generation. Like, on the one hand, I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she has the control now to do whatever the heck she wants. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, the way that she's portraying herself on social media, and like, I know that it's just her posting videos of her dancing and trying on clothes, because honestly, I used to do that all the time. I get the appeal, you know, it's fun dressing up. I don't want to make it seem like I am saying that what she's posting on her Instagram is wrong or shouldn't be posted. I guess I'm just saying that I don't know how much of that is her actually wanting to post stuff like that, her maybe not knowing any better. You know what I'm saying? It's also very interesting to me how throughout the book she states the illusion of Britney by her management. She was portrayed like this very innocent teen who exuded all of this sexuality. You know what I mean? It's no pun intended, but it's her prerogative whether she wanted to dress sexy or not. To me, there were too many people benefiting from her expressing herself in that way. Because like I said, I want to believe that she was in control. The whole thing regarding her sex life was just unbelievably inappropriate. And the things that they made her say regarding that topic, like, oh yeah, I'm trying to wait for marriage. And like, you know what? As she got older, as she was trying to rebrand herself and take control because of who she was saying that she was now, kind of pissed people off. There's so much more going on in this world. Why are people concerned about this woman's sex life? Yeah, it just seemed like all of that initial image of like this innocent young girl, and people expected her to be this perfect person. The fact that she started to show how imperfect she was disappointed a lot of people, and they just chewed her up. And I remember watching that documentary, For the Record, when it first came out, and it seemed like she was trying to say what was happening to her. Her father was like making her breakfast, and I just remember her saying, looking over at somebody and saying, I cannot believe him, how he can be such a a-hole and pretend like he's this great dad. I also went in with the shade Tender right here on the outer corner. I just wanted to build a little more depth. Yeah. I dig it. Why don't we try this very interesting shade called Muse? There's more texture in that one. I'm just gonna go in with my finger. Oh my, are you joking? This shade alone is amazing. Oh my goodness. That is such a pretty shade. It's so unique. It's like really intense. Okay, Natasha. Let me add a little more pink to make that transition a little more seamless. I'm actually going to go in with this one. This is the Refer 16, and I'm going to go into this shade called Wit, this corner shade. Actually, I'm going to tap both Wit and Vague. And I'm just going to put it like right here. Oh, look at that. Pretty. Yeah. Man, apparently I have quite a few feelings regarding Britney Spears. I just can't help it, you know what I mean? She was like my Madonna. You know, I never got a chance to see her live or anything in person, but I did watch every special that there was. If it was on TV, I watched it. Dang, that is such a pretty shade. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna add Mia because why not? It's this shade right here. Yeah, man, so far I have not had any difficulty with any shade. Oh my goodness gracious, look at this. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and add some liner just to see what it looks like with liner. So check it out. Let me curl and add mascara. Should I put the rest of my makeup on? I think so, just so that we can appreciate both looks. Okay, So here are the two looks that I came up with. This one is a little more sultry, a little more nighttime kind of thing. I feel like I didn't really blend out this part well enough. There. Is that better? I think that's better. It's very cute. This look is a little more on the soft glam kind of vibe. Overall, I am very happy with my purchase. I wasn't sure what to expect considering the mixed reviews that I've heard. I'll insert a couple more eye looks at the end of this just so that you can see like what else you can do. I'm excited to keep playing with this. I think my next video is likely just going to be playing with makeup. I've purchased quite a few products that I haven't really been taking full use of. That is going to be it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for quite a while. I think I've been filming for 2 hours now. That's going to be a journey to edit. Thank you for hearing me talk about Britney. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps out my channel and I'd really appreciate it. If you want to hang out with me in the future, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.